Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to a thriving Thursday. Today's class, if I know I start off with the bad to the good, but today I'm going to start off with some good so we can deal with the bad. Um, I'm going to start today's freedom from trauma today, free from trauma, with a verse that will help us all understand this class today. So it's in the Bible of John chapter 8, verse 32. And it says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Today's class that we're going to talk about today is that um, the reason why some of us are still or have been in the loophole of trauma because we don't want to understand the truth of trauma. Today's class also, I'm going to break down trauma to you. Um, if you read, if you've been with me on my videos, I started off this video saying, hey, I have been through a lot of trauma in my lifetime, and that's what pushed me to make trauma support group management because in trauma, everybody's in trauma. Everybody has some type of trauma. None of us are special. None of us are exempt from trauma. So today, I just want to share a little personal things that in my life that I have suffered in trauma, like being on the streets. Being on the streets can be very traumatizing. Strangers walking up to you, activities going on, you get involved in activities that you're not concerned in. Just the self-esteem you have to walk around while you're on the streets. The people that disrespect you while you're on the streets. Sometimes even when help is applied and somebody's trying to help you because you still feel so bad or you don't have so many bad experiences that you can't recognize help when it's there for you. Now, this is for everybody in the world. You need to understand today that I am a person that came from some very rough areas of life. Like I was saying, streets is one of them. Just to touch the subject and not personal, but also some of people in the world, they have families that have been through traumas. So we have to be aware that the people, even friends as well, have traumatized us. I was speaking with one of my siblings this morning, and he reminds me, due to the fact that he seen me change, but he'll say, "I never forget when you did this or did that," and sometimes when people that are traumatized, they have to address their issues with the individual. And what you have to do is be open-minded and accept it, knowing that, hey, I probably did traumatize this person. So back to my example, due to my me being in the streets, in the gangs, and being on drugs, that I traumatized some of my family members. And I remember one time to share this, I was going to the store for my mother, and the police pulled behind me, and I tried to come up to her apartment, and she didn't allow that. But I was arrested and about to go to jail in front of her. Now, sometimes in life we do things and don't recognize that at that present moment that yeah, you're selfish and you're going through that situation at that time, but you don't know how it's affecting or how you're traumatizing the other person. So I would just start that off too, because we do things, we do say things, and have reactions that can traumatize a person. For everyone in the world that's listening today, today is the day where I'm going to help you explain what trauma is. So let's roll. Let's go. Let's roll. That's what I should say. Let's roll. So, trauma. The definition of trauma: an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Immediately after the event, shock, and denial are typically long-term reactions, include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, like headache and nausea. Now, sometimes in trauma, people don't understand. For a person that is traumatized, there are certain things that does happen. Sometimes we do have people traumatized, that is traumatized. Excuse me. They do have unpredictable emotions. Sometimes when people are just going shock or respond a different type of way because the experience of that trauma. Um, Another thing that can happen, like I was saying in the list, that you could be, or a person could say a word, or you could be in an environment, or there could be something going on that would give you a flashback of your personal trauma. Today, I'm not trying to trigger anybody. I just want you to understand what the trauma is and why you're suffering from your trauma. Flashbacks can be a very long-term suffering, emotion, and mental, um, due to traumas in your past. Strained relationships also. Some people that in the world, some people out there, you really can't get along with that person because that person has traumatized you or hurt you or just really did some things that you didn't agree with. I want to share just some things knowledgeable, not personal, but there's some things that people can say and do and affect you, and in that relationship, even if you're in a relationship with a woman, man, or family, period, that there can be some things we say or do or act that really hurts a person, and that can label or make a scar for trauma to set in. And sometimes when people are not bold enough or don't have the courage at that time to stand for themselves, they take that in and it rests in their mind and their emotions and also their spirit and their heart. And that's when unforgiveness comes into play. But no, that's good. Trauma also starts unforgiveness because of the things that you experience you can't share with that person, and that is detrimental to detrimental. Excuse me, detrimental to anybody. So that was just another view of the strained relationship moving forward. Even like I was saying, even in trauma, some things can get your blood pressure so high, or certain events or certain things that's happening around you or an experience, that your blood pressure can go so high that you begin to feel nauseous. Or sometimes you can catch a headache. You literally can catch a headache just from a person talking, or you can look at a person and they're doing something that you don't agree with, or it might remind you of something that a person did. A lot of times, people, places, and things are related to trauma. Moving forward, trauma trauma informed care, a framework of thinking and interventions that are a directed by a thorough understanding of the profound neurology, excuse me, neurological, neurological, right. Now, neurological is a branch of medicine concerned especially with structure, function, and disease of the nervous system. Now, I can share this. When I used to be on the street corner, I panicked because I was once upon a time a drug dealer, and most drug dealers' nerves are in shock because why? First of all, we see the police, we panic. That could be traumatizing. And also, I want to share a story talking about the law on Christmas Day. If y'all remember, my daddy died by Orange County police officers. And that was traumatizing as well. So you got to think about it. Every time I see a police officer, what's the first thing you think comes to mind? That they're going to harm me or they're going to do something to me. And if we look at today's society, police officers, I'm not putting you down, but you got to understand the law code enforcement, or the people that understand law or that represents law, that some of the people you deal with are traumatized by you officers. Like I said, I'm not putting you officers down. I appreciate your hard work, but understand that the person you might be dealing with is have a mental trauma. Like I was saying, so back to the drug dealer story. We are in shock. We panic. We have anxiety. The reason why, because we don't want to go to jail. But that lifestyle of living, being a drug dealer and being a street person, you would see some things, you would hear some things, smell some things, touch some things that can traumatize you. I remember one time sitting at the bus stop, on Keely and OBT, and I was sitting at the bus stop and I watched this man get ran over by a semi truck and his legs got ripped right off. That can be traumatizing. Mr. Walker, whatever you're saying, people that are understanding where I'm from, you have seen some things that really mess your mind up. And today, I want to help you address that. We can fix these things and traumas by explaining to you why you're acting or why you're doing or why you're being the way you are. Okay, to move forward. The second thing that's a part of the this M4 care definition is we have biological. Now, biological definition, the first one is relating to biological or life and living process. Now, I was sharing with you guys earlier, being on the streets, on whatever your personal thing is, how you came up in your lifestyle, that can be traumatizing if it wasn't healthy. The second definition that I have of biological is used in product by applied biology. This also includes with the industrial, food, agriculture, and environmental and healthcare. Now, you got to understand some things out there in the industry right now. It can be traumatizing. Some things that's happening, like a lot of, we pray for the rappers and stuff like that and their soul, but a lot of rappers in the industry are giving their soul to the devil. They're admitting it. They have no shame with that. And if you're a Christian and that believes on God's word, that can be traumatized. So I wanted to share this, just not to get off beat, just because people are not the way we are and we have our differences. Don't let your heart be bitter towards that person, because that's how trauma can set in as well. Also with food, yeah, some people are traumatized by food. Some people don't like eating certain things or smelling certain things because maybe of their upbringing or something from a bad experience with food. So also be aware of that. And if you're triggered and you're traumatized by food, it's good to say, hey, I don't like that. And if you're in that situation where you feel traumatized, try your best not to pay attention of the trauma, but try to pay attention to get out of the trauma. Also in agriculture. Agriculture, that's big, because agriculture is pretty much everything we see, and we taste and smell. So, out there in the world can be traumatizing as well. I don't know why I'm saying this, but also in your environmental, even when you live, your neighborhood, the grocery store, anywhere you go, driving down the road, some people are like road rage. That is traumatizing to a person that's calm behind the wheel, driving by rules and regulations. And I'm not, like I say, I have seen people that when I was in New York or in Orlando, I done seen people get out the car and literally, for my own two eyes, have an accident and get out in fist fight. And we got to have control over that. But sometimes, from a person like me, I am traumatized when another person drives a car, because most of my accidents that I have encountered is because another person driving. I had a friend of mine, I'm not going to say his name, but a long time ago in the 90s, that's how I got these scars on my arm, and my back is messed up real bad. Me and my friend was riding down one of these streets, and he lost control of the car, and I came out the car and hit my back first, coming out the car doing 80 miles per hour. So that is a trauma experience. If you accidents can be trauma. The store can be traumatized. I'm still talking about environmental. So anywhere you go, you can understand that you're trauma. But today I want to help you and let you be free, because the world is going to be the world. I don't want you to be in your house in a shell and there's life out there. So that's why we are addressing these traumas today. And then on the next subject, healthcare. Healthcare can be serious. If you ever worked at a hospital or work, I commend people that work in the senior citizen homes. I salute you guys. I salute all the doctors and nurses out there. I believe that some of the doctors, even though they're highly trained and educated in their area, watching people pass away, watching children die, I'm not trying to trigger anybody, but if you lost a child or you experienced death from a loved one while they were in healthcare, that can be traumatizing as well. So I just want to help you with encouragement today. If you're dealing with that type of grief, I'm not in your shoes, but I just want to encourage you that today we're going to talk about and we're sharing, and I'm giving you information that you can overcome them traumas. Overcome them traumas. Thank you. All right. The next subject. Now, we have psychological trauma. Psychological, just to give you the definition of that, is relating to or occurring in the mind, mental. So listen, y'all, I don't want to go into depth in this, but I have so many mental traumas in my mind. Mr. Walker, can you share one? Sure. My past relationships with girls or females. What else? Some of my past relationships with my homies on the block. So supposed to be homies on the block. Foster care or being shipped, even prison. These things, these places in the streets, these places and things can take a strong impact on your mind. Even family relations, not personal, but family relations, other people that's out there, you have trauma in your mind dealing with your family members. So you got to understand that in the mind right here, right now, I'm going to do something. And I want you to interact with me. And I know I'm being informative, and I appreciate it if you're paying this much attention this far. But think in your mind right now. Just take a time and think in your mind, what has a person did to traumatize you? I want you to think of that. Don't cry. Don't get upset. Just, if you can't do it, don't push yourself. Stay with me. But I just want us to understand. And guess what? I want to say this while I'm saying this. If you don't feel comfortable doing this right now, it's okay. But whatever you do, I advise you, please find somebody that you could talk to about your traumas. Matter of fact, we're going to move forward. I don't want to trigger anybody, and I don't want nothing to have an outbreak. But I want to encourage you, if you was at that place in your mind, understanding that you was going to go with me with this. I'm not there to hold you or stop you from your reactions. But I do, since you had in your mind, to address your traumas. When you get done with this video and find somebody to call or seek some professional help, or if you're man enough or woman enough or child enough to do it on your own and sit down and say, hey, you know what? Oh my gosh, this person did this to me. Reach in your heart, say it. No, I'm gonna give you some steps. I don't know why I just left script, but I'm gonna give you some steps. If a trauma comes to your mind and you have a certain emotion, now I'm not telling you to go punch somebody. I'm not telling you to be violent. I'm not telling you to go holler at a person. You could deal with things innerly and by yourself. And sometimes when that happens, it's called healing. Crying is a part of healing. Talking is a part of healing. And confessing is a part of healing. I do a lot of crying. I do a lot of confessing. And I do share with people that I feel like they have done some wrong with me. So them are steps that you can take, because I didn't want, like I said, I'm not there to help you. But if you're with me in this class and you thought about, oh my gosh, this person, you're on the step of the road to recovery. But give me back your attention. Let's take a break for a second, because I know this is intense. So let's take a break. Remember to breathe and take a break. So just take a break. Breathe in. Okay? Breathe out. I know it's intense. I know this is intense. But we got to understand that trauma is keeping us from experiencing so many more good experiences out there. So let's get back to our notes. But if you're in your mental right now, and I want to encourage you, if you want to address your trauma, you are on the right road to recovery and healing and living a better life. Trust me, I know I'm your evident fruit of that. Okay, so we're still in psychological, right? So the second definition, and let me pause for a second here. Listen, when I make these videos, they can be traumatizing or they can have some reactions and effects, because that's what this what they're designed to do, to help you see what's going on, not just with me, but with you personally, everybody in the world, every person that see me, that's watching my video today. If you have the time, and that's a gnat. I have my door open. But if you have the time, even gnats can be traumatizing, right? Right. LOL, y'all. Let's laugh. But to get back on the serious note, there could be some times where, in your mind, that you really got to set yourself free, and this is the time. So if you're seeing these videos, apply it in the safest manner that you can. I'm not telling you, oh, Mr. Walker told me to address my traumas, and you go, like I say, hit somebody or yell at somebody. I'm not pushing this video for that. I'm just pushing this video so when you're hearing me and you're looking at me, while you're hearing and looking at me, I want you to not just look at me and hear me, but search within yourself of what you're dealing with at that time. Thank you. The second definition, we're moving forward. The second definition in psychological is direct towards influencing or acting on the mind, especially in relation to an individual, willpower, or behavioral motivation. Now, I'm going to repeat that. The second definition of psychology is psychological. What in the world? Work with me today, y'all. I'm trying to level up here. Psychological, directed towards influencing or acting on the mind, especially in relation to an individual, willpower, or behavioral motivation. Now, I want to help you out with something here. I'm going to give you the definition of willpower. Now, willpower is the ability to control one's own actions, emotions, and urges. Sorry. Let me say that again. Willpower is the ability to control one's own actions, emotions, and urges. So let me say something here, y'all. A lot of y'all say, oh, Mr. Walker, I can't help it. Yes, you can. I don't think I can do this. Yes, you can. I don't think this is for me. Yes, it is. You know why? You don't, some people that, for the people that are growing, because you're allowing your willpower to say, hey, I have issues. I need to see. I do act a certain way. I do talk. And my emotions are some type of way, and some urges that I have are out of control. That is you saying, hey, I have the willpower to do better. Listen, I'm not in control of I'm control of the video, but I'm not in control of you and who you are and how you respond. I'm not in control of that. You have that willpower. And also in continuing, another definition is in the willpower, a continual impulse towards an activity or goal. Like right now, what is your impulse towards this class? How's you feeling about this activity and the goals that I'm giving you? Okay. And whatever the answer you gave me, because I sometimes I have done this before and interact with people. I have certain answers from certain people, and some people might say, you know this what you're saying is kind of uncomfortable, or you're triggering me, or you might say, you might say, I really don't like this video because I don't want to deal with that, or I just don't agree with what he's saying. That is the impulse towards an activity or goal. That is on you. That's totally everything that I put out, and the response that you get is not for me to trigger you. You just need to look at yourself and see, dang, he's talking about some sensitive stuff. But if I'm feeling that impulse towards this activity or towards the goals I'm trying to help you to get, and you feel that certain impulse in you, I have no control over that. So I want to encourage everyone in the world, say, hey, you have the willpower. You can go ahead and control your urges. You can control your emotions. You can control your actions. You can control your impulses. Mr. Walker, share a story. Let me tell you something. On the left of script. Okay. When I was in the world, when I seen women, I had sexual impulses. I want to help you know what impulses is. That's why I'm going here. I used to have a bunch of girlfriends. Did I sleep with them all? To be honest, no. But I like lady company. I love female company. I love it. I love being in the presence of a woman that can hold a good conversation and talk intelligently, and don't start to touch it, but just conversation wise. And even in a conversation, your impulse can kick in. Y'all ladies know what I'm talking about. Y'all women know what I'm talking about. There are impulses when you see an attractive man, and there's an impulse inside of you that makes you get that rush. But guess what? Some of us don't have control over that. I didn't used to have control over that. I apologize. I didn't used to have control over that. But now, from life lessons and understanding about the walk with God and sobriety, is that some things sexually I can't indulge, because if I'm a person doing something and they're doing something that I'm coming from, I cannot entangle myself with that. This is good. I don't know why I'm doing this, but this is good. So guess what? Just because you have that impulse and everything feels nice at that time, look in the long run of with the person that you're dealing with, and see how their impulses, how their actions, their emotions, and their urges are. I just want to share that, and that's to the world. Also, I was saying about behavioral motivation. Now, I'm going to give you the definition of behavioral motivation. Behavioral motivation refers to the internal, which is your feelings, emotions, your soul, right? And external factors. Okay? So, listen, I'm going to give you definitions. I'm going to break all this stuff down. Because you're like, Mr. Walker, what's internal, what's external? So, I'm going to give you the definition to it. An external factor is consistent. Let me get it right. External factors are control elements within an organization. You got that? Internal factors are control elements within the organization. Now, some things that go on with us are on the inside, and then we have organizations with our peoples or groups or families or peers or associates that they can control how you feel on the inside. I don't know how I'm going here, but I'm doing the video today to help the world. You have some internal issues, internal factors that you need to address with what's the word I'm looking for? With your organization. Who do you associate with? That's your organization. And just moving forward, the second definition with the internal factors, some things that can affect you, financially, financially mismanaging your money. If you're a big spender and you know you got bills and you just spending your money and you're out there just not being responsible, this is a problem that you should see on your internal factor. Also, you have operational inefficiencies. Now, operational inefficiency is like, you're in charge of something and you're not operating it right. That could be a company, that could be your church or your youth group or whatever position you're in. To be a leader, you're not being effective. You're being inefficient with that. To move forward, that also is entangled with the next title that I'm coming up with: poor leadership. Now I'm making these videos, and one thing I want to say about me and addiction, from my personal aspect, when I was in addiction, a lot of my family did see that, but my leadership, I always make sure that if I'm with my family or friends, that I stayed with them and everything, even in my addiction, that my house stayed clean. I'm a clean freak. I don't care what nobody say about me. I might have been doing my thing, but I kept my house clean. Now, I'm not being personal with this. I'm just sharing that, that in leadership, when you have that leadership, you can, right now, if you're in a place in your life where you're struggling and you're coming out, you could change that poor leadership, because you got to think about it. Y'all watching me, but you got to think about who's watching you. To the world, who's watching you? Are your kids watching you? Are your parents watching you? Is your family, your grandma, or your friends, your job, Social Security, the Fed? I don't care. However, how somebody watching. God is watching all the time. But you got to understand, somebody's always watching you. Now, listen, I'm gonna keep it real with you. My character has not always been up to plate, but I did carry myself at a certain standard. But there has been time when people looked up to me to lead, and due to me being impaired or on a substance, my leadership was poor. So I want to share that, not saying, oh, your leadership is poor, but if you're feeling like your leadership is poor, you might want to address that. So we're going to move forward. The lack of strategic direction. The lack of strategic direction. Now, this is internal. This is an internal factor. Some people in relationships, a woman said, "Baby, what we about to do?" But due to the fact that I'm intoxicated, I'm hurt, I'm badgered, I'm high, I'm drunk, I'm using drugs, and I ain't thinking clearly, I can't give you no direction. And you got to think about this to the world. If you're in that leadership position and you can't give a person that direction, then that's something that we might really need to address, because you got to think about it. People are still on trauma. Some people have traumas, and the person that you're dealing with or around in your organization is that they might look for your direction. Might need you to have a plan to help them out. I really want to share that in some of my relationships, that when I got to the point where I felt like, hey, this is something we need to stop and do different. Sometimes just because you lack strategic direction, it's because sometimes some people don't believe in you, and that gives you that sense where you're like, dang, I'm trying to give you direction, I'm trying to show you direction, and by a person not listening to you when you're trying to give that direction can be discouraging and traumatizing, because you got to think about it. People that's on the other side of the fence with me here, if a person like myself is giving you directions, and it's good and clear to take you where you're going, not personal but to the world, that it could be traumatizing. You can hurt it. Discouragement rests in. And you got to think about it. A lot of people that don't like to share because they open up and nobody listen, or they open up and nobody pay attention, or somebody uses it against them, and that can make a person be lack in the strategic directions. So I just want to share that as well. All right. Also, to the next subject, employee misconduct. Now, I am one of the best at this. That's why I don't work now. But due to my traumas, my experience, and my addiction, I used to go to work every day buzzing, just buzzing and drinking. And I went to work and you know, and thought I was cool. But when a situation arises at work, my behavior or my conduct or my body language or my verbal speech was not professional. I want to encourage everybody. If you're at a job and it's triggering you and your trauma, it's reminding you of traumas, don't quit the job at that moment, but find a job that can replace that job. And don't listen. I'm gonna also share this. When I don't know where I'm going here, but when you have one old experience in the work field or anywhere in life, you cannot take that mindset of trauma to the next field. I'm talking to myself, the next field of life, because guess what? You will never experience the new conduct or the great employee that you are, or the great person you are, because of your trauma and your internal issues. That was good. So if you have employee misconduct, you might want to check and go in and check and see what's going on inside of you. We're going to move to the next subject as well. It's a matter of fact, we're on the same definition. Excuse me. So we said internal factors: financial mismanagement, operational inefficiencies, poor leadership, lack of strategical direction, employee misconduct. Now, the last but not least, a breakdown in internal communication. Now, this is deep. A lot of people don't know how to communicate when they're dealing with a serious situation, because maybe there's something that's going on the inside of them. And I'm just going to tell you from experience, with my experience, there have been times I haven't been addressed, even with my addiction. And my response was like, you know what, I got this. Or, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I don't care what you think. That is my internal communication. A lot of people, if you want to see where they are or how they feel about you or what type of person they are, listen how they speak from their heart. Today, from my heart, I'm here to help you discover that we have some internal issues and that we need to approach them to be a better person. Now, how I got here where I'm at right now, because I sat down and I said, you know what? I have eternal issues. Now, this was going to be a tough one, but I want to speak life to you today. I want people, if you're watching my videos, I don't want you to walk away from these videos hurt and feeling offended. I want you to understand that if you're watching this video, Mr. Walker has his eternal factors, but what about your eternal factors? And that's talking to the world. So just be careful how you respond. If you're feeling hurt, it's okay to say, hey, you know what? I feel hurt. I don't feel comfortable talking about this situation. Or if you try to address a person and they don't feel like don't want to be bothered with the issue, it's a tough bullet to bite, because in your eternal factor, you want to grow and move forward. But sometimes talking to the world, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And it's kind of tough to do that, because here you want to be free and you're eternal, and the other person that you might have this eternal factor issue with, that, it's going to be hard to move forward. But I want to share something with you to help you move forward. Prayer and reading the Bible, or finding somebody that you trust that you could talk to about the situation. Now, it's nothing like getting healing from the inside when you talk directly to the person. Like if my dad was here today, I would sit up here and I would say to him personal, just me personally, say, hey dad, you know what? All the times you beat me, that really hurt me. And I'm traumatized by that. I'm just teaching you how to approach something. And a lot of issues that we have issues with people, we need to learn and to go at it, not with that toxic internal communication, but humble yourself within yourself and say, you know what, I have a problem with you, and I would like to address it. Now, if the person don't want to address it, you have to just probably bite the bullet and walk away. And I'm the type of person. I don't know, just as everybody. I'm not trying to breed something, but I'm the type of person. If I have an issue with you, I really can't like be cool and talk about you or talk behind your back. If you find me disengaging myself because or if you find a person, not me personally, but a person as well, disassociating themselves with you because they have some situations that they would like to address. And for the people that don't want to help the person help with their external, you're shutting them down, and they're making the trauma worsen. So I just wanted to share that to the world. Okay, we're moving forward. We have another thing that's on the psychological thing as well. So that was, excuse me, I'm moving too fast. So we were talking about internal factor. Now, that's on the inside. Now we have external factors. Now, some internal factors are uncontrollable elements outside of it, like economic conditions, politic change, natural disasters. So you got to think about it. On the outside, that some things on the outside of you, I'm looking at my notes, sorry. No, things are outside of your note. You don't have control. Some situations that we have been in, some things that people are doing, or some people, things that are moving or happening in their life, you don't have control over that. We need to understand that as you're being, understand this, and this is really from maturity, speaking from level to got where I'm at today. When you're dealing with yourself and you want to make right, or you're just dealing with stuff and stuff is going on around you and it doesn't agree with you, you got to understand, hey, you have no control over that situation, over that person, or that environment. That doesn't make you powerless. By the way, it really doesn't. What it does is just you need to just stay more internal. So let's break this down once again about the external factors. So I'm going to go over this again. This is good. The external factors are uncontrollable elements outside of it. So anything that's outside of you and it's not in your personal life, you don't have, listen to me good, you do not have any control under that. A lot of times when I got into trauma experiences, because things that were out of my control, I tried to control. It's not, hey, if it's out of your element, if it's out of your reach, or it's not even concerning you, I advise you to stay out of that uncontrollable environment. And that's to the world. Also, outside of it, like economic changes, conditions, economy conditions. The economy is changing right now. The economy, the stock market fluctuation, gas going up, food getting high. Listen, I remember we used to buy a bowl of cereal. I ain't changed the subject. I remember about cereal used to be $1.97. I remember, don't guess my age, I remember when we used to buy candy bars and it was a quarter. A quarter for a Snickers candy bar. Don't guess my age. I remember the McDonald's burgers were 79 cents. About that. I remember when McDonald's burgers was 49 cents. They were 49 cents, y'all. Everything was cheap back then. And now the economy can be triggering too, because here it is, you're trying to make ends meet and go back and forth to work, or provide for your home and help your family, or help your friends or loved ones, or your church or organizations, or whatever the case may be. And the economy is, the taxes. And I'm not in deep into politics, so I'm not going to sit here and talk like that. But I know money went up. I remember when gas, I used to drive a Buick. I remember, I'll never forget. I remember I used to get $2 worth of gas and ride around all day. $2. Don't laugh at me. $2 worth of gas. And this is true. I know y'all laughing at me, because guess what? You got to think about it. You put $20 in your tank, and you can't even go 4 blocks. You got to put more gas in the car. I remember back in the days, you put $20 in your car, a Buick 85. Not even that, every kind of car. Back in the 90s, you put $20 in there, that tank was full. Y'all know I ain't lying. So, yeah, so the economy can trigger you. So guess what? We have no control over that either. I'm just trying to help you guys, or you ladies, and the kids that go shopping to the mall and trying to keep up with the Joneses. You got to understand, that stuff ain't cheap. I got a pair of shoes right now. They like $200. Now, back in the days, I ain't gonna go like that, but back in the days, $200 lasted me a long time. I'm just saying. And you know what I'm talking about. Y'all not talking about drugs and stuff like that. I'm talking about when you could buy a pair of shoes. I remember Foot Locker used to have a 2 for the $89. I'm still talking about the economy, y'all. So think about it. Things were cheap back then. So the economy can be traumatizing and triggering as well. So understand, you have no control over that. Also, political changes. The laws are changing. I'm not talking, hey, Mr. Trump, I ain't talking nothing bad about you. But the political change are changing, and we have no control. Okay, we voted, right? We voted for the president. We didn't vote for what he can do and what he's supposed to do. We just voted for him to get in there and do what he do. Now, like I said, I'm not a political person. I don't want nobody. I'm not on no Democrat side, no Republican side. Hey, I'm going with the flow. America is a great place. Yes, it is, because if you want to better yourself, America is a place where we have a president that I think, or from my studies, I've seen one time for Trump. Now, listen, Trump, I'm going to give you a little shout out of something that you did do politically and correct in our changes. And y'all know what I'm finna say. What I'm finna say. Them stimulus checks. Right. Y'all got it. Y'all with me. Them stimulus. He will break your bread. Right. So, Mr. Trump, we appreciate, as an individual, I didn't get one, but I appreciate you if you can do the back pay and break me off with. I just play y'all. But for real, all jokes aside. And the political, sorry. It's good to laugh. It's good to laugh. Okay. It's good to laugh. All right. But on the political side, we have no control over that. And that's what we're talking about, the external. We're still talking about the external factors. Some external is outside. We have no control over that. So let's move forward. What else do I have here? Give me a second, y'all, because I'm everywhere right now. Natural disasters. Now, hurricane, shout out one time for FEMA. I appreciate y'all. Y'all do y'all thing when we get hit by hurricane, floods. I really appreciate. This is also going with the political people too. I appreciate FEMA. Thank you guys. That's a personal shout out from myself, Mr. Darrell Walker. But there, natural disasters can happen, and we have no control over that. Now, I understand, and I feel in my heart to share this. Prayer can change some things. Prayer, say correctly, prayer can change all things. Today, before I got on this video, y'all know I will pray, but I prayed today to let us be free, and God gave me that scripture, and we got to understand that when you want to be free, really in your mind, in your heart, in your speaking, in your vision, what you're hearing, that anything that's around you, you don't have no control over that unless you have that leadership, or you're that parent, or you're part of that organization But other than that, if you're an individual like myself, like I say, if it start raining outside, God might give us the power one day. Hey, start raining. But in reality, which is powerful, it can't happen. But in reality, nature takes its course. Nature does what it does because that's what nature is. So we got to understand external factors. You got to understand we have no control over things. That is the definition, and that's the summary of external factors, y'all. Understand that you can stay in control, but you're not in control of things that are outside of you. Please get that, and that's to the world. Also, moving forward, we have social effects. Now, I'm giving you the definition of a social effect. Social effects, the effect that actions, events, or decisions has on individuals, groups, or society as a whole. Oh, that's beautiful. That's just something we're getting close to the end. That's summing it up right now. You got to think about it. What effect is having on you because of your social? What are you saying? What events are you going to? What decision are you making? What groups are you a part of? What society? How do you look at society as a whole? All of these things is one thing. And if you watch the news a lot, or if you're not being in a positive mind frame, some of the TV shows that we watch, or some of the music we listen to. Now I ain't gonna say we, because I don't listen to that stuff anymore, but I used to. But when I say we as a social effect, as a group at Trauma Support Group Management, that as a whole, that we got to understand that these certain things can be dangerous if you're not using them in a positive manner. Listen, I want to share this, and I'm just going down with my notes. That you can have effects in your actions. How are you acting? I just want this more a personal question to yourself, to the world. How are you acting? What events are you going to? What decisions are you making as an individual, or as in a group, or as in a society? Right now, you got people, what you call that, protesters. That is a group, and they're putting in action. They're making events and stuff like that. I'm promoting it. I'm just sharing that in your social life, what are you hearing? What are you talking about? What direction, or what actions, events, decisions, or that you're making as an individual or group or society. I'm not going to repeat that again. So I know y'all got my point. Moving forward, this is the summary. We're coming to the end. So this is a summary of the class today. Trauma has on the individual recognizes that the person constant, independent needs for safety, connections, and ways to manage emotions and impulses. Excuse me. I'm going to read that again. Trauma has on an individual recognizing that persons' consistent independence needs for safety, connections, and ways to manage emotional and impulses. And guess what? That's what this class was about today. This class was here to design to help you. I apply it to myself. That's why I'm able, just to be honest with you guys, this is something that I don't make up. And this is something that I am applying to my lifestyle, because I personally have triggers and traumas and things like that. But I'm not saying but we can change today. If you want to say something with me, just say, you know what? I'm going to change. Let's say this correctly. Just say I, not him. Say I need to change. You feel your heartbeat there? Some people heartbeat. If you feel your heartbeat like boom, 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 boom. You're living. You have a chance to change. So thank you for listening this far. I love the world, and thank you for watching Trauma Support Group Management by Mr. Darrell Walker. and have a thriving Thursday.